Yeah.
Disclaimer. The materials and the information contained in this video are provided for general and educational purposes only and do not constitute any legal, medical or other professional advice on any subject matter. None of the information in this video is a substitute for a diagnosis and treatment by your health professional. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new diet or treatment and with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. If you have or suspect that you have a medical problem, promptly contact your healthcare provider.
Is our health hack the secrets revealed?
Welcome. Today I have a very special guest, Sam Tran. Now Sam, I've been following him for a couple years now and we've spoken at a few events. And this gentleman is a recovering pharmaceutical research scientist. Recovering. We talked about that earlier. Just give us a little background of what you went through when you were a research scientist in the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, so I went to school at the University of Washington, and then I started working in the hospital. But I just saw the revolving door. That's our hospital system, and I wanted to get to the front. To the front end of healthcare and just help prevent people from getting sick in the first place. And so at that time, back in the 90s and mid 2000s, it was pharmaceutical research because there wasn't a big, really organic movement yet. And so that's why I went into pharmaceutical research. But doing that about 23 years, I just kind of figured out that we're just coming up with more medicines, but no one's really working on prevention. And so, then I had my near-death injury, my accident.
So let me get this right. So you started in the pharmaceutical drug industry as a scientist to research them. You realized this really isn't helping people. This is just putting a Band-Aid on all these symptoms.
Yes, yeah.
And so from there, you have this near-death experience. So tell us how that happened.
Yeah, I'm a very active guy. So during the winter, I'm a ski instructor. I skateboard, snowboard, and everything. But I was skateboarding with my children and not wearing my helmet, no prevention, right? Because I thought I was good enough, and not good enough.
Just taking risks.
Yeah, taking frivolous risks. So I fell and I hit my head and I was in a coma for the better part of just a day.
Really?
But I experienced seeing heaven, not seeing heaven, but experienced the love and acceptance that's heaven.
Wow.
And then you come back to this world and you see how it's not going in the right direction. Things are topsy-turvy, things are upside down. And so that led me to have an awakening and basically choose a different path.
Wow. And so I remember you talking about you had some experience with your ears, and then you would vomit or you'd feel delusional because of your head wasn't quite on right. And then you got a contraption to help your ears, correct? And so, that was more preventative. So is that kind of what sparked the whole idea of how you got into the Kangen water?
Yeah, so I when I got my concussion and went to coma, I woke up with vertigo. Vertigo is a sense of dizziness and it's uncontrolled dizziness, basically. And so I had dislodged some of the crystals inside my inner ear on one side, and it was sending my brain a signal that I was laying down. Meanwhile, the crystals in the other ear was telling my brain that I was standing up. So the brain was getting mixed signals. The hardware got damaged. Right. And so I found a natural way to reverse that because there's no cure for vertigo, apparently.
Right. And so when you discovered that, then you kind of looked at everything else in your life and you were analyzing, how did I get here, and drugs and pharmaceuticals. What really changed your mindset to prevention from there on, in the water? How did it come into your life?
Yeah, it changed me because here I was experiencing something as a patient. Not a scientist, not a researcher. As a patient, I didn't want to be on all the pills, and then I found something that actually worked, but the healthcare industry didn't really, know about. So I was like, wow, that's kind of strange. So what am I a part of?
Right.
And so that led me to look at other things that were natural, because it's strange when you work in toxicology. Because I worked in my department, looked at the side effects of all the drugs. When you look at these white powders and these special chemicals, you find out how toxic and dangerous they are. So you want to avoid them at all costs.
Right, right.
You know, you're not taking them for fun. You know that they're toxic. And so, you know, so that's why I was looking for natural.
You had some health issues at that point with your brain concussion. You
Yeah.
were trying to stay away from all those pills because
Exactly.
you had researched them. You knew what they were doing to
Exactly,
people.
right.
Right? And so when you started drinking the Kangen water and you decided to do this, now you're retired and recovering as the pharmaceutical scientist.
Yes, yes.
You know, what is it about the water that you feel is so beneficial to people's health?
For me, I looked, at first I was looking at the data, because I'm a data-driven guy, right? But then it became so logical and so simple. And I asked myself, am I looking for something that's complicated, expensive, and side effects, or am I looking for simplicity? For me personally, I want simplicity. You know, and so well, why not water? If water could do this medical device from Japan that, you know, changes the characteristics of my water. If water really could do this, then I have to question everything that I've been told.
Continue in part 2.